Well, set for a start here in this 1988 19-year-olds grand final at the Addington Showgrounds. Eastern look as if they've won the toss and they're going to kick off. They'll be kicking off into a strong and cold easterly wind, and that should favour Hornby a great deal in this first half. So the kick-off deep into Hornby 22. Just bounces awkwardly there, but picked up and run into the ruck by that player there, and he's dropped the ball. Good start for Eastern to have Hornby pinned deep in their 22. Referee Tom Lightfoot just making sure that both front rows know exactly what he wants from the scrum. Eastern ball. It's big Joe Faimolo. It's a nice ball off to one of the supporting players there, but the Hornby defence looks good in this early stage. To Huya. Just a little bit slow with that ball there, and it made things quite easy for the Hornby defence. It's Fonatier, and he's hit very hard by John Jacobs there. Oh, some sloppy work there. Eastern looked quite promising, but just a simple mistake and it all comes to nothing. So Hornby's ball to the scrum. They should win this. Referee just not happy there, so we'll have another scrum. So just a little scurry around the back there for Justin Nixon. Hornby being pinned down quite well here by Eastern, and for the early part of the game I'm sure Hornby would rather be down the other end. They have got that win behind them, but at this stage don't look to be willing to use it. So just looking for a kicker there, and you could see by the way that the Hornby players took off downfield. They were expecting the kick to come, but the Eastern defence has been very good up until now. So the kick. The kick out on the full, so back to where the kick was taken from. Eastern ball, that puts them in quite a good attacking position here. That's big Farliga Fatila. Joe Famon. And Hornby just a little bit too keen, and it looks like we could have the first points of the game with a penalty to Eastern right out in front of the posts. So Aaron Mitchell, the kicker. He's kicking into the strong easterly winds. Very cold here today. Looks like a fair contingent of Eastern supporters up behind there. Certainly takes his time. Wow, that could prove an expensive miss. The restart, of course, will be with a dropout. So the long dropout. Hornby looking to be in the eastern half for the first time. Some very big men in that eastern front row. There's one of them there, Joe Faimolo. Well, Tom Lightfoot has ruled that Easton were inside the 5 yards when in possession, and even though it is a rule of the game, a law of the game, it's never used quite to the extent that they do in Australia, and it's an unusual thing to see that happen here in Christchurch. So, Blair Harding. Hornby on attack for the first time in the game. John Jacobs there just looking for a supporting player. It's big Simon Angel. Not a very apt name for a front rower, but I'm sure he's learned to live with it. Nixon just looking to give his outside some room there. They're only about 5 metres out. Long spiralling pass out into the middle of the field. It's Angel looking to go through, almost gets away from the defence. Jacobs just angling across, looking for a short runner. That's 6 tackle, and that's a handover. So Big Joe from dummy half. Shane DeHuya, that's the captain, the Eastern captain. Just making some nice gains, some nice yardage gains there, Eastern, getting themselves out of their danger zone. Oh, well put into the clear here. Goes around the defender quite well, but just trips over David Tranter. So a nice piece of work there by Eastern, and once again they find themselves right on the Hornby 22 and hot on attack. Referee Lightfoot not being particularly happy with the scrums in this first quarter of the match. And that's not surprising when you see the way that one ended up. So, Hornby the penalty. Blair Harding with the kick. So, the restart with the tap. Hornby look quite in control of what they're doing at the moment, but haven't really had an opportunity to put much pressure on Eastern. Angel gets a nice little pass away to Justin Nixon. Crawford just looking to get that extra mileage. Nixon with the bomb. Put it right out across onto the far touchline. Well, it was obviously touched through there, and the drop out from underneath the post. the kick. Just dropped there by Crawford, but the referee ruled that the ball went back, so he's still in business. Simon Angel looks a good front rower. Good defence at this stage from Easton. No scorers yet. John Jacobs through the gap. Easy try. He just ran at the defence and the defence wasn't there. So now there are points on the board. There are 4 points and they belong to Hornby. Well, Easton did all the early attacking and threatened to break through on more than one occasion. Hornby looked to be in a cruise mode until their try. They got down on attack for only the second time. The second time that they've been on attack, and they turn it into points. Just waiting for Blair Harding with the conversion attempt. He set it quite well, but no goal. 4 points to 0. Hornby lead Easton. Just coming up to the 12-minute mark here, and the first 12 minutes have really belonged to Easton, even though Hornby lead by those 4 points. Yeah, it's just a small knock-on. You can see the flag in the background there, which shows you that the breeze is quite stiff. So, Eastern feet, they've got the ball. It's Mitchell running the line. So, just 10 metres out. Can they reply straight away? They almost can. Faliga Fatili. And a bad mistake there from Joe Faimalo. Just when it looked as if Easton were going to get those 4 points back, and some, just a simple knock-on ruins the chance. So Hornby come away with it. They'll be looking to get out of this area. And Aaron Wright really doing some good work there. So Hornby again. Good running from the Hornby forwards here, and a nice transfer out to Grant Gay on the wing there. Most of the nerves would have gone by now, I think. Tom Lightfoot really not being happy at all with the scrums in this first 20 minutes. Well, he's let that go. That could be a raffle. Who's got it? Easton. Tin Edwards up to play the ball. It's the halfback, Foley. Well, what will they do? Look for the goalposts or look for the touchline? Looks like the touchline. and he's definitely made sure. So the tap right on the 22. The double round. John Winokur. Tahuya back the blind side. So it's a very strong run from Tahuya. Tahuya at dummy half. Looking for the big runners. It's Fartili. Miss out Faimolo. Fonatia, John Quinn. Just pulled down short. Good defence here from Hornby. The winger Tranter looking to, Titai actually, looking to go through there beside to play the ball. So the bomb. Well, it was close. Whichever way it's going to go, the try's been ruled out. So we'll restart from the 22 here. It's McChrystal. McChrystal again at dummy half. Just works the ball behind to play the ball, looks for the runner, finds Crawford, who in turn finds the supporting players. McChrystal back in the action along with it. Nice work there from Hornby to clear the ball away from their 22. Angel. Just couldn't get the pass up to the runner Nixon. John Jacobs, the try scorer. So Hornby once again back on attack. What can they make of this? Nixon with the kick, just nudges it across the touchline. Tackle's running out. He's elected to stay down there and keep the pressure on Easton. So Hornby 4, Easton 0. Well, that's a tight head to Hornby. Run from the dummy half, Wayne Blake. Nixon in at dummy half this time. Well, that's a bit predictable. Clears the ball well that time. Jacobs. Simon Angel looking for a runner. Gets a lovely ball up to his fullback Harding, who is going to finish off the move with a nice try underneath the posts. Simon Angel stood in the tackle, waited for the runner. Blair Harding came. He still had a bit of work to do. The pass put him into the clear through the gap, but Harding finished that off well. So Hornby 8, Eastern Suburbs 0. The conversion to come. Harding looking to convert his own try. (10-0). Well, the obvious difference is that although both sides have had chances and both sides have put together some promising moves and been quite dangerous, Hornby have finished them off, and they deservedly lead by this 10 points to 0. Aaron Mitchell. That's deep, right over the Hornby goal line. Grant Gay runs it out. Runs straight into two of the eastern front row. Not really the place that wingers enjoy running into. So Hornby once again looking to run the ball out from their 22. McChrystal. The kick. The strong wind still blowing, and as you can see by the length of that kick, it's certainly a help. Fonatia. Well wrapped up. John Quinn. Eastern will have to score shortly, otherwise they're in danger of just falling adrift. Once the points margin becomes too great, then in this sort of football, it's just the devil's own to try and get the points back. So the kick into the wind this time. Has it gone too far? No, it's actually been a good kick. It's really forced Hornby onto the back foot. Big hit there in defence. Harding. Well, the elbow certainly came up then. So the player just being spoken to at the moment. Brought his elbow up when the Eastern defence came to him, and that can prove to be particularly nasty on the opposing player's jaw. And rightly so, there's been the penalty given. So Aaron Mitchell once again will look for 2 points. He certainly knows what the posts look like, because he had a look at them some 15 minutes ago and missed on that occasion. Can he make amends? Aaron Mitchell certainly taking his time. There's the kick. And, well, Eastern finally on the board. They should have been there a lot earlier, of course, because Aaron Mitchell missed a kick that was almost as simple. But nevertheless, that one was successful. Hornby 10, Eastern 4. Okay. So that penalty goal has put Eastern on the board, and Hornby restart. Taken by the second rower. Quite a bit of moisture on top of the ground, but as we said before, the showgrounds has always been easy to dry out. Eastern just looking to come away. Big man taking the ball up the middle there. Through the standoff. Look to have a bit of a gap out here wide. The ball knocked on, regained. We'll have a scrum. Quite some big boys in both these forward packs, and under 19 football has always been known for its free-flowing atmosphere, not so much discipline-wise, and I think as we've seen in the earlier stages of the half, a couple of indiscreet elbows and arms being fired around. So Justin Nixon, the captain of the Hornby side, feeds the scrum, looks for a standoff, coming blind on the short side of the fullback, through a weak tackle there, and he's away. Being chased all the way by the standoff, a nice handoff, and a magnificent try in the corner for Hornby. Blair Harding, the fullback. It's a nice little move, work from the base of the scrum by Justin Nixon. Brought his standoff half around the blind side, he linked up with the fullback, and the fullback just pinned his ears back and went all the way to the line. Justin Nixon, the Hornby captain, of course, is the younger brother of Mark Nixon, the junior Kiwi. So he's given it plenty of power, but a little bit of direction needed there. 14 points to 2. We've got about 13 minutes to go until half time. Eastern don't seem to be in a hurry to get back and restart the play. So a long kick right down into the 22, taken by the winger back there from Hornby, and he brings it out just to the 22, and as a matter of fact takes it quite a bit further. So Grant Gay it is, he'll get up and play the ball about 10 metres outside his 22, looking for the runners. Just working the ball, the hooker running across. Nixon again. Well tackled by his own hooker. Nice little ball up there to the hooker, back again. Making progress through the middle. Looked for the runner, but just as he was going down, decided he'd be better off to keep the ball. Nixon away from dummy half. Just a little chip kick ahead there from Grant Downing. Regained, knocked forward, and advantage to Eastern. So the Eastern centre will get up and play the ball, and that's Brian Fonatier. At this stage, Hornby look to have the better of this game, but in any sort of final football, of course, it's never over until the final whistle is blown. Missed the runner there, missed the big man, number 8. Hornby's defence is good at this stage. So the chip kick through there from Faimalo, and it's been regained by Hornby. Kira Williams has come up with the ball. Standing in the tackle. Some would say a foolhardy thing to do, others would say courageous. So Hornby just looking to make progress up the middle of the paddock here. It's been noticeable right throughout that the referee Tom Lightfoot has had a very good 5 yards, and that's allowed both sides to throw the ball around and actually get back deep and run onto the ball. Good football. So last tackle coming up now for Hornby. Nixon just chips it towards the sideline, looks to get the ball out, and does so by bouncing over the head of David Tranter, the Eastern Suburbs winger back there. So the scrum about 5 or 6 metres inside the Eastern 22. Ball in, it's no, we'll have it again. Eastern ball to the scrum. They should get this, but yes, they do. Loose forward. And he has a nice bustling run, makes a good 5 or 6 metre gain away from his goal line there up to the 22. Dummy half with the ball. Looks to go through the middle there. He's brought it out a respectable distance from where they started, all the time trying to get away from their own try line there. Good defence there from Hornby. All the runners have had plenty of room. As I said, the referee, Tom Lightfoot, is having a good 5 yards, so the runners have got plenty of room to get moving, and there's been some good defence to bring those runners down, especially when they're at full pace, and especially when it's a big man like this. Good defence from Hornby. Easton looking for the touchline. Might be just a little too far. Yes, it is. So it'll be a scrum back from where the kick was taken. So Nixon's ball to the scrum. There wasn't much mistake about that. It was almost a pass to himself. But anyway, the fullback on the short side once again. He's come in quite a few times today, and he's been particularly dangerous each time he's got the ball. Just getting a little bit keen there to get up and play the ball quickly. So midway 22, halfway Eastern. Ball into the scrum, and they've won it. And the little 5'8" there runs into a brick wall. So Shane Tahuya again, the captain of the Eastern side, looks to be quite a busy little runner when he takes off, and there's a good little run too. Plays the ball to himself. A nice little handoff to the to his hooker. So in 2 tackles, Eastern have done very well. Tahuya doubling round. Looks to pop the ball up, does so quite well, and some nice running into the hole there by Aaron Mitchell on the 22. Fonatia onto Tahuya again, looks for somebody inside and gets the ball right across the front of the Hornby defender, but unfortunately the good work was undone by quite an untidy pass there from Fonatia. So scrum down midway, 22 and Hornby goal line. Hornby's ball, they should get this. Especially the way Nixon has been feeding the scrums. So just a little bit of tidying up there from the referee. Ball in, straight back to Nixon. Gets a nice pass away too, partially held in the tackle, and the ball now out through the Hornby backs. First tackle still to come, and they've made some very good gains, and there's a good run there from Grant Gay, who showed quite a bit of speed. Just unfortunate that first tackle it may have been, and they've wasted that opportunity. First job of a winger is to stay in play. But here's Tahuya away with the ball. Some 10 metres into Hornby territory. He plays the ball back. John Winokur again was the player who, for quite a small forward amongst the size of the other forwards on the field, it seems to be very lively. But inside the 5 metres, Hornby. We've got 6 minutes to go until half-time, and both sides by now should know that referee Lightfoot is going to have a big 5 metres, and he's going to insist on it. But just before half-time, this 2 points would be very handy for Eastern. Crowd starting to build up here, of course. Big clash after this game. The grand final, the line red grand final, 1988, Marist Western Suburbs versus Horswell. So Aaron Mitchell looks at the posts, looks at his feet, steps across. He might kick it by half time. So he's hit that. Flags are up. And a very handy 2 points for Easton just 5 minutes before half-time. It sees Hornby leading 14 points to 4. Hornby have actually got the advantage of quite a stiff breeze here, and it'll be interesting to see what Easton's tactics will be in the second half, whether they use the ball, because they look very dangerous and have some dangerous runners that can make 10, 20 yards when they run, and if they're prepared to put the ball in the air and down deep into Hornby's territory, then they're going to put a lot of pressure on Hornby. So Winokur again just taking the ball up there from the kick-off. It's the half-back going for a little scurry. Sun trying to break through the low cloud cover. Very cool wind. So once again, Tahuya makes some good ground up the middle of the paddock. Showed quite good speed and also good feet. Used to use his feet. He moved off them quite nicely just to take himself out of the reach of the tackles. Faimolo gets a one-handed pass away, and that man that took the ball, Tinny Edwards, almost got away from the cover. Some good work by Hornby just to close that attack down. So the ball just over, chipped across the top, fullback in, well taken by the fullback there. He had a good game, Blair Harding. He's quite a big lad. So Hornby just looking to get themselves away from their goal line. And with this breeze, I think they'll be looking to kick as soon as they could. The winger on this side, Easton, is just going back now, but he's been up on the line for the last 2 or 3 tackles, and they can leave themselves pretty well uncovered at the back. Line umpire just with something to report. And it looks as if Hornby will be kicking, but in a different vein. They'll be kicking from a penalty. Shane Foley, the man being spoken to there. Carrying on the tradition of many good halfbacks, and that is not being scared to give some of the bigger fellas a bit of curry up. So, Hornby in. Good gain there. The advantage of having a very good 5 metres to work in with a good referee controlling it strictly gives you plenty of room to get moving and plenty of room to play some good football, and that's what we're seeing here at the moment. So, through Nixon again. Grant Downing just probably went a little bit too far there. He had three men outside him that were looking to run onto the ball. Nixon. Across to his prop forward, and a nice little short ball put up there, but number 10, Kira Williams, just couldn't hold on to the ball. So Eastern ball. Just a minute and a half to go. They really need this. They should have it. Got it. It's coming back through the scrum, but it's been, well, they got away with it. Tahuya. Big man, nice little handoff there, but referee Lightfoot continuing with a good display, sees that it was definitely a forward pass and deliberately forward, and the penalty to Hornby. So this will really be a bonus for Hornby. Blair Harding, he's about 30 metres out on the angle. Half time actually showing on the clock. Doesn't look like a bad kick. It might be just swinging across the face of the post. It is. and a dropout from the 22. Eastern player actually fumbled the ball, but was standing well behind the dead ball area. So the dropout. It's quite a deep one. Scott Woodgate. So a good solid tackle there from that Eastern player, but he's obviously done something to his shoulder that he'd rather not have done. There's the hooter, and half-time in the 19 years grand final. Hornby lead Eastern by 14 points to 4. Okay, all set for a restart here in this 19-year-old grand final, 1988. Hornby with the kick-off, and they lead Eastern Suburbs at the moment by 14 points to 4. So referee Lightfoot blows for the start, and Harding puts it down. So the winger in just to take the regulation tackle. Dummy half, Andrew Toms, the Eastern hooker. It's the biggest man on the field, that's Faliga Fatili. Looking for a kicker. Well, he got the kick away, not a particularly good one, but it is screwing around up there, and Hornby have waited for the ball to bounce, and they're lucky to get away with that. So the fullback just takes the ball in there, just over the halfway mark, and about 5 metres inside Eastern territory. Dummy half goes for a little scamper. Makes some good ground there. Through Nixon again. Nixon looking for the runner, finds his prop, almost breaks the tackle, but just stumbles before he can get himself away and perhaps get the pass away. Some good defence here from Eastern. That's the final tackle. Nixon just looks to throw a little dummy and nudge that ball across the touchline there. He was looking for some space, but just hesitated a little bit too much, and Eastern come up with the ball. So Eastern once again pinned down here. Some good defence. This breeze is still quite stiff, so they should be looking to let that ball, put the ball in the air, and there is an example of what happens. Just taking in some good cover defence there, but there was an example of what happens if you don't use the wind that's following. You make a mistake. If you make a mistake close enough to your line, you could be punished. So Hornby on attack. The dummy half, that's the hooker, Stuart McChrystal. The prop. Just looking for a runner there. He had his arms held. So Nixon looks for the big man. Looks to bust it up on the blind side there, but the Eastern defence was always going to be too strong there. They're just sitting there waiting, and there's a little nudge over the touchline from Nixon. Just keeping the pressure on, making within striking distance. The Eastern's ball to the scrum. They should win it. And, well, lucky to go over that, but they did get away with it. Just a little bit hesitant there, the halfback, Shane Foley, came around, managed to recover the ball when it looked quite dangerous for him. Just wait, the St John ambulance men are going to make a good tackle. No, probably one of the best side steps seen on the park this afternoon. St John ambulance man might find himself up for grabs. So a nice little ball away in the tackle there from the big man. Got a new player on there for Eastern, Emmanuel Fiala. sporting a haircut a la Ellery Hanley. What a slightly different shade, though. So the referee's just moved the scrum across from that injured Hornby player, and looks like everyone's back to full strength now. Hornby ball. Nixon, Downing, looking for his centre. Centre shows the ball to Fiola and gets away from him, but runs out of space there. Some good cover defence coming across. Downing looks for the runner. Simon Angel. Almost through as he stretched out. He has. No, referee Lightfoot looked to be awarding the try and then ruled it out. So a scrum back. He hasn't given a signal at all there, so we're not sure whether Angle knocked the ball on or whatever. The end result is no try and Eastern ball from the scrum, although the referee says we'll have it again. Hornby with all the pressure on Eastern at the moment. Just waiting for the front rows to settle. Eastern into the scrum, it's come out, Nixon has it, tight head to Hornby, puts the ball back inside, and quite a harsh decision there because the ball was put back inside by Nixon. The Eastern player was retiring, coming back onside, but referee Lightfoot has decided that he's offside and the penalty results. So Nixon, who has been quite involved all afternoon here with running the Hornby team, he's the captain. He's also, by the look of it, their playmaker, and now he's become their goal kicker. It's about a 30-metre kick on that angle. He's kicking right into the wind, although from this distance, it shouldn't make that much difference. He's hit it quite well. It's swinging in and it's between the uprights. Hornby 16, Eastern 4, and that's after about 5.5 minutes in this second half. So Eastern with quite a big job in front of them now. They're 12 points adrift and as of yet haven't been seen to be using the strong wind that's behind them. So the restart. Just bounces on the 22, the Hornby second rower, that's Aaron Wright, stretches forward and makes sure the ball's safe for his side. So that's Angel right through the middle, looks to get the ball away, knocked down by Eastern, back to Nixon. Burrows his way through up to the halfway line. So Williams just doing the heavy work through the middle there. Hooker McChrystal runs across, shows the ball, gets it onto his second rower. Spins out of an attempted tackle, but is taken quite high there by the hooker. McChrystal. Nixon once again in at the pivot. Downing puts a pass onto his centre, but just bounces it off his shoulder, and that causes him to slow down, and it makes him easy meat for the defence. Nixon again. Nice little ball there to the winger, and he's put the ball toted ahead. It looks like it could beat them all over the dead ball line, and it does. But just a nice little bit of enterprise there. Grant Gay. Once again, Tahuya making ground. Every time he gets the ball, he's a very dangerous player. Some quite famous names out there, especially Tahuya, Whittaker, and there another famous name, Fonatia, almost getting the ball back inside. Fullback, Nicky Trolton. So, Eastern. Got it all in front of them. What can they do? John Winokur just looking to go through the middle there, but this Hornby defence, as it has been for all the game, quite strong. Ball's up. Not a particularly dangerous kick, but that bounce just made the fullback hesitate there, and I think Easton have taken him down over the line, which means that Hornby must restart with a dropout from underneath the posts. The Hornby side, of course, are also not without their famous names: Nixon, Woodgate, Gay. So just looking to come up the middle here, Nicky Troughton. Midway, halfway, and Hornby 22. The big man, Fartili. He makes a lot of ground when he runs. He's a very big boy for 19, but doesn't seem to have the speed of some of the other props, especially the two Hornby props, who are not that far short of him in size, but look to have a lot more mobility. Just a little fumble there. So just inside the Hornby 22, Nixon will feed, so should get the ball. Eastern backs up very shallow. So just a little bit of hesitation there, which almost cost Hornby the ball, but Nixon to play the ball. And that's the fullback just tidying up, giving us forwards a bit of a spell. And as he has done all afternoon, referee Lightfoot having a very good look at that 5 yards, and also by the look of it, he's had a good look at one of the Eastern players just handing out a bit of hurry up to, and it was more than just a bit of hurry up, because it's earned him 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the sin bin. Tahuya doesn't appear to be too happy about that, and I'd suggest to him that he's not really going to change the referee's mind. So that's Shane Foley, the Eastern Suburbs halfback, having a 10-minute rest, which I'm sure he doesn't really want. And nor will his coach, Sonny Rolliston. So Hornby up over the halfway line, that's right. Nixon, Downing. Looking for Angel again, and a nice run there from Angel, and a beautiful little ball slipped around the defence, but the cover defence was the only thing that stood between Hornby and the try line then. So some good work here. Both these sides look to have some talented players, and just looking at the coaches of the respective sides, it's easy to see why both sides look extremely well drilled and well disciplined. Rex Rastrick for Hornby, of course, ex-Sydenham Premier player of some standing, and Sonny Rolliston, ex-Canterbury player with Kaiapoi and Eastern Suburbs. So Eastern with the ball, just looking to get themselves away from their danger area. Just running the ball, just making as much ground as they can, scampering away from dummy half. Should be looking for a kick now as soon as possible, but they're persisting with their big men. That's Faimolo. It's the younger brother, of course, of Seni Faimolo. And now we look at a kick. So it's been put down, but it's been put straight down the throat of the Hornby fullback, Blair Harding, and he'll bring the ball up just over the halfway mark here. Good ground made there. Eastern, I think, are waiting right until the last moment before they kick, and that's obviously costing them, because when they decide that they have to kick, have no other option, they're being a little bit rushed, and the Hornby defence is getting up on them, and those kicks are not being as effective as they could be. There's Nixon just ducking under one tackle and almost getting the ball away to the supports, but it's been knocked down, and it's been knocked away, and Emmanuel Fiala comes up with the ball and threatens to get away on Hornby. So just a little bit of untidy play there from Eastern. winning in Faimola. Some good ground made up the middle there, but as opposed to Hornby, Easton will make the same sort of ground, but as far as the finishing off or the making of that final break goes, they don't seem to be able to match Hornby. So that looks like the final tackle, and it's been kicked towards the sideline there. The bounce may get it out, but once again, because Easton leave themselves no choice on when they're kicking, the kicks are rushed and are not as effective as they could be. Hornby, once again, the runners. There's a man that's had a good game this afternoon, and another little pass, takes the tackle. He takes the tackler away from the hole and puts it there for his supports. Good football. That wasn't good football. So the scrum with Easton to feed just about 8 metres inside the Eastern half. Just waiting, Easton in. Another tight head to Hornby. It's the second one this half. Downing looking for a way not only through the Eastern defence but around the St John ambulance men, and gets a nice ball away to his centre, who almost clears out. Nixon, dummy half. John Newson comes inside, breaks one tackle, almost out of another. He does. Gets away from a high tackle, puts the ball up. Just a little bit of untidy play there. There was obviously a big hurry to get that ball cleared to the winger, but with the big hurry came big mistake. So the pressure's still on Eastern though. Eastern have their second rower, John Winokur, feeding the scrums, because of course their halfback is still in the sin bin. And Hornby have come up with that. Not very good work from Eastern there. They'd actually hooked the ball, but one of the forwards from the Hornby pack detached himself, went after the ball and came up with it. So Hornby dangerous. Just underneath the post now. Downing looks to go back inside, steps inside his man, just held, and the cover defence takes him. Right out in front of the post, 15 metres out. A little cross move there behind the dummy half. Nixon. Onto Angel again. Nixon at dummy half. Nice ball away there from the prop forward, and that's nice enough for him to score the try. Yes, it's Gay across in the corner. Comes inside about 10 metres, puts the ball down. Nice try. Kira Williams is responsible for that try, and I think his name will go down on it. So with 17 minutes gone, that try should put the seal on this game for Hornby. Justin Nixon will attempt the conversion. He's about 5 metres just further out than the successful penalty goal position that he had some 10 minutes ago. Doesn't waste time. Once the ball's down, he's back, and he's in and kicking it. And he's done exactly the same thing, or no, the wind has actually forced it down, so it's dropped between the posts. So just some 18 minutes gone in the second half of this 19 years grand final, and that Grant Gay try means that Hornby lead Eastern Suburbs by 20 points to 4. Just a bit of a hold up while the ball decides to lie down. Nice take at bounce back. So Gay back in the action. Gets a little massage over the face for his trouble. Hornby forwards are sharing the workload quite well. It's noticeable that the Eastern forwards, the two big men, Fatili and Faimolo, are the ones that are doing all the running, but in this Hornby pack it's being shared out evenly and they're all running effectively, especially this man. Another good ball back inside. He stands firm in the tackle, gets the ball away to his supports. Well, there's a fairly good example of anybody retaliating always ending up on the losing side. Nixon had run into Faimolo, and Faimolo was just gently rubbing his neck with his elbow, and Nixon objected to it and then so lost the ball. So Eastern looking for the ball, but most of their pack ends up on the ground. Winnaker still feeding the scrums for Eastern. It's noticeable that since the halfback Foley has been off the field, Eastern have had a lot of trouble with the scrums, and it just shows the importance that if a good hooker is worth his weight in gold, then a good halfback certainly is, because it's the halfback that feeds the hooker. Eastern away over the halfway line. Faimolo running hard. Away from the dummy half. It's Tehuia. Onto the other big man, Fatili, who stands firmly in the tackle, gets the ball up to his support, but he can't keep hold of it, and Hornby come away with it. It's McChrystal, the hooker. Once again, the Hornby runners sharing the workload. Williams back into Angel, some good passing there. Nixon, Downing. Just can't get those arms free. Hornby threatening all the time. Nixon looking for the runner. Crawford onto Wright, who goes straight through a fairly weak tackle and heads towards the posts. That looks like last tackle. Nixon with a wee chip kick, goes up, it's probably not gone far enough, and Fonatier takes the ball on the full, and well, it's interesting that with the new rule, if you take the ball on the full inside your in-goal area, it's normally a tap kick on the 22, but referee Lightfoot has decided that a drop out under the post is what he wants. Fonatier. Not a very good kick away from there, especially with the wind behind him. Angel. Straight through some weak tackling there. Looks to get us... Yes, he does. Gets a lovely ball away to the hooker McChrystal, and just being caught on that angle. He came in from the wrong angle to run off the player and ended up running towards the defence. But Hornby still threatening. So Williams will get up and play the ball midway between the 22 and the eastern goal line, and short side they go. That man Angel again almost gets a lovely ball a la Steve Roach to his halfback Nixon, but Eastern have come up with it. Faimolo running strongly. Yeah, this is when Eastern should look for the kick. Yes, well, there are the perils of standing up in the tackle when there's nobody coming. So some good ground being made by Eastern, but one decent kick would make up for about 3 or 4 of these tackles. Oh, just an attempt at chip over the top there from Tehuia, but to no avail. Hornby with the ball. Once again, Hornby will drive towards that eastern goal line. Some good running there. So Eastern, not using the wind behind them, end up back under extreme pressure again. Hornby centre over the top to Gay. Good floating pass there, but he just couldn't keep hold of it. The ball's been knocked down, so the scrum will go down. Nice pass there. It was well thought out. If he'd been able to keep hold of the ball, then that corner flag would have been threatened. Just coming up to the 25-minute mark, and 20 points to 4. Eastern are really up against it now, and as I said before, the last try, Grant Gay's try that Hornby scored, really put the seal on the game. Eastern's ball. Just Troughton. Once again trying to fight their way out of the 22, not looking for a kicker, putting themselves under pressure. There's some good football being played by these Eastern players, but tactically I think they've just let it slip away from them. It's a good run there from Winokur. Looks around for his captain and loose forward Shane Tahuya, but just a little bit too far away from him. So Foley back in the action. Looks for a runner, tries to get it across the top. The runners weren't there, but they'll come away with the ball anyway. All this good work and energy that Eastern have been putting in over the last 5 minutes could be made a lot easier with using this wind. So just a break here for one of the Hornby players who looks to be in a lot of pain, and he's just a little bit too close to the play, or no, the referee says a handover for the 6th tackle, and we'll just carry on. So Harding, and he has realised that he is a little bit too close to play, so Harding will just have to wait until he gets up to play the ball. Hornby continuing the situation, or the proud tradition of their club, and in producing a multitude of outstanding footballers. Harding plays the ball. Prop Kira Williams looks to go up through the middle, but he's been hit fairly solidly there. Crystal just makes ground. It's all they have to do. Good controlled football. Nixon. It's the little chip just a little bit too far. Bounces kindly for Fonatere, who catches it on his hip and looks to get the ball away, but drops to the ground, just inside the Hornby half. So, Faimolo running, good run there. Fartili, the big man. Just sense a little bit that Hornby may have relaxed a little. Their discipline, and good try there. Shane Tahuya. Looked as if he was well covered there, but determination and strength, he just kept going and made it through the Hornby defence. He's been their outstanding player this afternoon, actually, Tahuya. Just a little suggestion, though, that Hornby, when they look at the clock and they look at the scoreboard, which was 20 points to 4, just a little bit of relaxation seemed to come over the team, and Eastern were taking good advantage of it. They were putting together some good moves, but too little too late. So John Quinn, left-footed kicker, right from the sideline. He's given it a decent sort of a thump, but just falls away at the end. So 12 minutes to go until the end of this 19 years grand final, and Hornby lead Eastern 20 points to 8. Darren Brennan looks to be on for Hornby. We haven't picked up who's gone off, but I presume it to be the injured player. So Harding just puts the ball along the ground into the Eastern 22. David Trenter. John Winokur. Good man Tahuya again, making some good ground there. Gets a nice ball on to Fonatia. Fonatia running through the middle. He looks for a supporting player. The supporting player, Emmanuel Fowler. Hornby cover defence takes him. Fonatia runs into a bit of illegal traffic there, and although they get the penalty, they would have been far happier with free passage with the ball. They had an overlap out here on the left-hand touch. They've still got an overlap out here on the left-hand touch. There's a big gap between the hooker McChrystal and Gay, the winger. So Fonatia just short of the Hornby goal line. Up to the halfback Foley, across to Tahuya. He gets wide to Winokur. It comes out through the backs, a long floating pass. Quinn gets the ball back to his fullback, but defence equal to the occasion from dummy half. Yes. Tinny Edwards. Some good work there from Easton. Hornby's defence was looking good, but once again we see so many times players scoring tries from dummy half when a halfway decent tackle would stop them. So 10 minutes left. Could this be the start of an amazing recovery from Easton? Quinn, he's hit that well, and that's between the posts. The scores have really closed up now. Hornby 20, Easton 14. There's 10 minutes left. I don't think this game's over yet. So Nixon to restart. Hornby have had all the running of this game so far, and they've looked the more polished side, but Easton obviously have other thoughts. Nixon into the Easton 22. Quinn. Just some scrambling play there. Easton have got to get down the other end of the ground. Faimola. Oh, a nice little ball up there, but just a little bit of indiscipline there. Hornby at the right end of the field. Easton have got to kick this ball down. So Nixon just looking for a way through the defence there. Tries to scurry along the ground. So Crawford just to play the ball. Nixon looking, he's got runners outside him. There is a gap there. There's a nice little step there from number 15, and that little step's good enough. Carl Stewart, the little step was good enough to take him across for the try. Well, Easton threatened the comeback. They pulled up 20-14, 10 minutes left, but it looks as if Hornby will have the last say. Carl Stewart, a nice little step for a big man, and he was too close to the line once he'd made that step and got the half break. He was too close to the line for anybody to do anything about. Once again, and I'm sure it's about the 10th time I've said it, Easton paid the price for not using the strong wind behind them. They tried to run the ball out over their 22. A pass that probably would have been better not being made. Goes off the player's chest. Hornby take the ball. They score the try. That's the winning of the game. Nixon. Just chipped it through there, and between the uprights, above the crossbar, that's the extra 2 points. 26 points to 14. Hornby lead Easton with about 6 minutes to go in this 19-year-old grand final. So perhaps we're looking for Eastern Suburbs now to look for some respectability, but it's not a good way to start. That ball's not going to make the 10-yard line, and that'll be a penalty to Hornby right on halfway in the middle. So I don't think Hornby will be in any big hurry to take this penalty. 6 minutes left on the clock. So let's have the new man having a run. Obviously be keen to get into the action. It's fairly cold standing on the sideline waiting for your turn. So McChrystal just looking to control the play here. Gets it to his second rower right. He runs up, spins out of a couple of attempted tackles and does quite well, makes some good ground there, but loses the ball forward. It's been ruled that it was knocked out of his hands by the Eastern players, so no knock on. Crystal harding up on the line. He's getting a bit cold back at fullback and wants a bit of action. Crystal, dummy half again. It's ball across. Downing. Out to Stewart. Runs into some heavy defence there. But it's Nixon's bomb, and that's quite dangerous. It's bobbling round there. It's going to be a lottery. And a knock-on's been ruled by referee Lightfoot, so there'll be a restart from the 22. Andrew Toms on to Faimolo. Second time he's lost the ball. In a dangerous position. McChrystal just tidying up there. Eking out a few yards. Making sure that they use all the time that's available to them on the clock. It's Crawford, a lovely little ball onto Downing, and he split them wide open and he'll be in under the posts. So Crawford took the ball, put his hip into the player, one-handed, off to the supporting Downing, and there was nobody at home for Easton. Well, it's certainly been an action-packed last 15 or 20 minutes. At one stage there, Easton got up to within 6 points of Hornby, and we look to have a last 10 minutes that'll be full of action. It is full of action, but unfortunately for Easton, not the sort of action they want. So the other 6 points on top of 26 makes the score with about 3 minutes to go in this 19-year-old grand final. Hornby 32, Easton 14. Crawford, the try maker. Here's Brennan just getting a bit too keen and giving truth to the old adage, you're better off to be 2 yards too late than an inch too soon. That's a good kick too. They're only about 5 metres away from the Hornby try line, and do we see a last minute piece of pride? Faimolo. Winokur at dummy half. Onto his halfback Foley, looks for the big man Fartelli in the middle, and he runs into some solid defence there, but when you're that big, I don't really think it matters what hits you. Tahuia just sliding through the gap there and getting a lovely ball up there to his second rower, Tinny Edwards, and Tinny Edwards, the second try he scored in the last 15 minutes. So Tahuia just slicing across almost through the half gap, saw he wasn't going to go through, but managed to put the ball across to Edwards, who was backing up and running at the hole quite nicely. Nice timing, good try. Tahuia definitely been Easton's best player here this afternoon. So, no mucking around with the conversion attempt, that's a successful one. 32 to 20. So we've got 2 minutes to go, and by the look of it, Hornby, you don't mind if they go via Kaiapoi to come back and kick off. So Harding with the restart. So the player of the day has just been announced, and not really a surprise, I don't think. Number 8 for Hornby, Simon Angel. So the ball being lost by Eastern there, and once again, losing the ball in your own half puts you under pressure, especially when you've got a wind behind you of this strength that you don't use. Brennan, he's making the most of the time that he's been on the field. If you're going to come on as a reserve, you always make sure you get your shorts dirty. Crystal, dummy half. Harding, he's another one to have a good game. And a nice run there. And a nice pass to Nixon, who in turn gives it on to Downing, who bounces the ball instead of forcing it. Smart piece of work there by the Hornby players. Good run from Harding, nice pass from Harding, and a nice transfer from Nixon. So, Fatili. Faimolo. He's definitely tried all afternoon, Faimolo. Easton. Just showing the ball behind the play the ball there. Now out through the backs. That's the fullback, that's Troden. He's gone through a nice gap there onto the winger, but just run out of room. There's the hooter, and referee Lightfoot blows the whistle for the end of this 19-year grand final, with Hornby running out the victors over Eastern Suburbs by 32 points to 20. A good game of football from both sides. Both sides were obviously well prepared, but in the end, Hornby just a little more organised, and they shared the workload and had the players to take it away. 32-20. Hornby have beaten Eastern Suburbs in this 19-year-old grand final.
Stand very shortly, and I will give you the names of these players and what they achieved.